Look at these. When I started this church, I had little Leah, and Becca was just born when we started the church. So all that these kids know is this church, most of them. And really, Leah was a little bitty thing, and Becca was just born. So really, all of these children have been raised in this great church. And we love you, and this is our home. It will always be our home, and we're so grateful. And I was talking to you last week about, really, I made it a real quick thing, so some of you might be a little confused. So I want to make it a little more clear. Diane and I received a promotion from the Lord to be able to do something I really love to do. And I love to work with pastors, and I've been doing that. In addition to this job, I've been developing a team of pastors. Some of you have heard me talk about it from time to time. But I've been able to do that in the States, and in Europe, and in Central America, and South America. We have more than 100 churches in Honduras that we oversee. And I've had to do that in addition to my regular job, which is being here with you, which has been a blessing for me. And so recently we started heading up New Nation and working with that as well. And so we received a promotion from the Lord to be able to do the things that I really, really love to do. I love to work with young people, and I love to work with pastors. And so I've been here now in Hammond for 30 years, in this church for 23 years. And so Diane and I, we talked to our pastors, and we also prayed and heard from God, and we said, okay, then now is the time to receive this promotion. This has been an opportunity to us for a long time to coordinate the United States and to work in that kind of work to help people. And, now's the time, the Lord for us to do it. And so, in order to do that, of course, we had to promote someone else to be hands-on here in our church. Now, let me explain what that really means, because I'm just different, right? So if you're like expecting something expected, you're probably mistaken. So I know what happens, the pastor, he moves on to his next thing and you never see him again. That's not what's going to happen. So although there's certain sadness in changing roles, my role here will be to support the new guy and to support you. So on a monthly basis, you'll probably see me once or twice a month, if my calendar permits it. But whenever I'm here, I will be around here, because this is my home. You're my family. You can't. They say you're stuck. You can choose your friends, but you're stuck with your family. So that's the way it is. You're stuck with me no matter what. So I'm going to be around here. So, I have an exciting adventure ahead of me, and I'm looking forward to it. And I was 29 years old when I started this church. I'm a little older than that now. I was 29 years old, and we started this church at a little house at Southeastern. Pastor Glenn Finelson sent me out, and some people from First Assembly were sent out with me. And we started this little church on the campus, and with about 30 people for a few weeks. Just not sheetrock, but we had insulation on the walls there. We were doing outreaches into the projects every day just to win souls. And I was 30 years old, and really this has been a great adventure for us. And I was 30 years old about 6 months into my tenure. And so, I'm not saying I'm super great now, but I have been able to do some things for God. I've been given great opportunities. So I look forward to see what young men can do if they're given opportunities. And I will, yeah? One of the disadvantages I had was I was making this thing up as I went along, and so I had to some of you were along for the ride, so you know. So I had to make some things up, and we tried different things, and and we, look, as you know, I'm not afraid of change. I like change. Some people don't, most people don't, I do. Because this is what I believe, everything that's alive is changing. Look at your garden. If it's not changing, you know it's dead, right? A rock is not changing, it stays the same. But anything that's got the force of life in it is constantly changing, and we're constantly adjusting to it. Anybody that's raised children know you want them to stay like this, right? And you want them to be cute and playful. Guess what? You turn around, they're teenagers. and they're bringing a boy home. Hello? And then it hits you like, this is going to be different. But it is what life is. Life is about promotions and graduations. And, you know, the saddest thing is when people try to hold on to the same when God is called for change. It's sad because death begins at that point. Life is all about listening to God and the breath of God being in us and allowing change to be a part of our lives. And we don't like it, we don't want it. A lot of times, nobody, as you get older, you like it less. But if you're wise, you understand that it is a part of our existence. It's a part of who we cannot avoid it. Some of you are getting older. Some of you used to have hair, and now you don't. In my case, my hair is growing back. By faith. If I come back looking like Kim Clement, you'll know I've had some work done. You'll say, the boy's going crazy. He took this freedom thing one step too far. I'm not promising I won't do it. I'm still praying about it. But the way we do things, the way I do things, the way I feel is the right way to do things is for all these years I have not been a pastor of a church only. I have been raising up leaders for the last many years, and I've been raising up a team of leaders. So, you know, we have the privilege in our church of not looking for a stranger or a gunslinger so that you have to get used to somebody else in a time like this, because we have a tremendous amount of great leaders in this church that you know, that have been in encounters with you, that's led you in cell. So we don't have the same situation where you don't know the people, that even if these kind of changes happen, we're not thrown into a, you know, titter. We know the people that we work with, because I've been raising up a team of 12, and we actually developed another team, and I'll talk about them in a minute. But so it was easy for me, you know, when Jesus left, he didn't leave some associate pastors behind him. His success was in his successors, right? That he spent his time, he worked with the multitudes, but he did something that was different than a populist ministry. He spent his time investing in young men, so that when it was time for him to go, they never missed a beat, they just kept going. And he was training them in how to preach and how to teach and how to heal the sick and how to do the things he was doing. And those secret investments that you make behind the scenes, they pay off openly at times like this. Because I know the leaders of this church, and I know each one of them. I know what they can do. And for most churches at a time like this, possibly they're having an election committee or a search committee for a trusty new guy. Which is kind of weird, you know, to have to adopt somebody as your pastor you don't even know. Right? It seems like there's something odd about it. But in the kingdom, we don't have to do that. This is really not an organization, it's a family, right? Right? It's a family. So in a family, grandfathers are happy to be grandfathers, and they're happy to see their sons get their own house. They don't feel threatened by their son getting their time, but the grandfather takes the position of, I'm going to get behind you and make sure that you are a great success. So that's what we do here. So instead of having a big election or something like that, my successor here, or the person that will be here to take the ball and to lead the team, that particular guy is somebody that I've chosen with the Holy Spirit and with my leaders, so that it doesn't I don't think politics belong in the church. I don't think people ought to be voting and casting votes. I think people should follow God's man, because I believe that's the way they do it in the Bible. And that's what it says in Psalm 75, that promotion doesn't come from the east or the west or the north or the south, but promotion comes from the Lord. That the Lord that raised people up and moved things around according to his plan. And so, as believers, like in the early church, as believers, we listen and we say, okay,